Conundrums in Wills and Estate Planning. In this 4-part series, we discuss common problems that arise in relation to wills, and more importantly, ways in which to deal with them. As the writer is a lawyer in New South Wales, the principles of law discussed are those in New South Wales only. Part 1. Relationships in your senior years. As people are living longer, they are also entering into relationships later in life. A common scenario is that a person who has been married at least once before and has children, who have now become adults, wants a companion in life but does not want to risk that person making a claim against their assets or their estate after they have died, to the detriment of their children. In fact, both parties to the relationship may feel the same about this, and may agree that the assets each person owns should pass to his or her own children. If the relationship develops, then it is possible that the two people may become de facto spouses, even if they maintain separate residences. That may mean that on the death of the first to die, the survivor is eligible to make a claim as a de facto spouse against the estate of the deceased person to receive provision or greater provision from their estate than the deceased person has left for them. This is commonly referred to as a family provision claim, and is made pursuant to Chapter 3 of the Succession Act, 2006, New South Wales. Memories fade about agreements that may or may not have been made, and the survivor often feels entitled to receive some payment or asset in light of the care and support they provided to the deceased, or the contributions they made towards the maintenance or improvement of the deceased's assets, or to keep a roof over their head. The children, however, staunchly maintain that their parent wanted them to receive the entirety of their assets. So, what can be done about this? People often go to see their solicitor about this conundrum after the horse has bolted. That means they end up visiting their solicitor about making a will, leaving everything to their children after they've already formed a relationship with someone, often some years down the track. And after that, partner has already made significant contributions to their welfare and/or property. In New South Wales, honestly, the only way to ensure that a person cannot make a family provision claim against your estate after your death is to have that person agree to release or forego their right to do so, and to have that agreement, or more specifically, the release of a right to bring such a claim, approved by the Supreme Court of New South Wales. Now, that exercise is much simpler to achieve if the parties to the relationship are right at the beginning and agree to make such an agreement, which is a little similar to a prenuptial agreement, except this time it deals with what is to occur or not to occur on death, rather than separation. In deciding whether to approve of the release of a right to bring a family provision, the court has regard to all the circumstances, including whether it is or was, at the time any agreement to make the release was made, to the advantage, financially or otherwise, of the releasing party to make the release. And whether it is or was at that time prudent for the releasing party to make the release, and if the provisions of any agreement to make the release are or were at that time fair and reasonable, and whether the releasing party has taken independent advice in relation to the release and, if so, has given due consideration to that advice. If the application is made at the beginning of the relationship, and if both people in the relationship agree to give up the right to make a family provision claim against the estate of the other, the court may be persuaded that it is prudent and to the advantage of each person providing the release, so that they can develop the relationship freely and provide any support they wish to the other person, without fear that will establish the eligibility of the other person as a de facto spouse, to make a claim against their estate or will strengthen that claim as the years pass. Making such an agreement may also mean that the children feel more comfortable about the relationship between their parent and his or her new partner or companion. Of course, a gift can still be left in a will for a partner or companion, but if that person has released their right to bring a family provision claim and that release has been approved by the court, The partner or companion cannot seek more from the court after the death of the will-maker, except in limited circumstances, such as fraud or non-disclosure. For any assistance, please contact MJM Lawyers, your trusted New South Wales wills and estate lawyers, led by our founder Michaela Money, who became a solicitor in 1998 and has been an accredited specialist in wills and estates since 2009. Visit www.mjmlawyers.com.au to book an appointment or call +6102 80893139. With a wealth of experience, Michaela Money and the team are here to guide you with confidence. Liability limited by a scheme approved under professional standards legislation. Disclaimer. This post contains information of a general nature only and is not intended to be used as advice in relation to a specific matter. Although every care has been taken in preparing the document, it may not be accurate or complete, particularly in the context of specific circumstances. MJM Lawyers disclaims responsibility for any errors or omissions.